you've been posting a lot about badass courses recently. You have a whole article on what makes badass content. So where did this like badass manifesto come from, and how is it like materialized into badass courses?
So that's badass.dev is that site. And so the actual company that we use to produce these courses is Skill Recordings Incorporated. And I describe it as a business mullet, where we have skill recordings in the front, and the mullet fun bit, the party in the back is badass. And honestly, like I put that up as a place where for me to just blog, but the team liked it, and then people just started referring to it as badass courses. And it's 100% an homage to Kathy Sierra's work and her book Badass: Making Users Awesome, which I think everybody should read it in like a literal way, not just in software. It's just a really fantastic book. And that's what the idea is. It's like, how can that entire book is about taking difficult topics and making it to where folks can get past what she refers to as the valley of suck, and into like the good parts where you're actually, you know, doing the thing that you want to do, right? And she uses things like photography and snowboarding, which is notoriously difficult, and people will go out there and day one, it's just, you know, like, how many times can you land on your face and be like, this is a really horrible activity, I don't like it. But if you can get through that and you can go hit a mountain and snowboard down the mountain, that's like one of the greatest experiences and feelings you can ever have in your entire life. But you have to get there. And the same is true for, you know, programming computers. And it isn't easier now. And we have all sorts of great tools, and, you know, like LLMs are awesome. And I'm engrossed in these tools, but I don't feel like it makes the actual job much easier. In a lot of ways, it sometimes makes it more complex. And it's really, really difficult. And people get in there and it is frustrating. And you know, like you give up because it makes you feel like you're dumb a lot of times. And it's not the case. It is just legit hard. And there's a lot of vocabulary, and there's a lot of things to learn, and there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of pieces from, you know, getting here and typing in your editor to like deploying something on a server that other people can interact with. And then just the kaleidoscope of complexity that comes along in there. So to me, like, badass is not the content. Badass is where we're trying to help people get to, right? We sometimes we're badass, but that's not the, you know, like, that is not the intent. This is what we want to help other people achieve, is from where they are now to being a badass at doing what they want to do and achieving what they want to achieve. And to me, that's like, at the end of the day, what a badass course would do is, you know, like, take somebody from, you know, like, I'm confused and don't understand and I'm frustrated, but I know, you know, where I want to be, and helping them get there. And, you know, like, a lot of the material, I mean, yeah, I think we're relatively successful in that goal, and keep getting better. So, yeah, that's great.
It's interesting because this is like a transition from like how Egghead operated as a platform that's like sort of maybe not fully self-service, but like you go to Egghead, you consume a lot of content, and you've sort of changed to like, it's almost this like production company that we will like produce this, like, I don't want to say produce the content, but like wrap it up in a way where it's like a standalone, like very high quality thing known for its sort of like own brand. What was the sort of like phase from like thinking about content creation on a platform like Egghead to thinking about like these more, I guess, bespoke, high quality, highly like produced like courses? Like, what was the sort of path getting from one to the other?
I was at React Rally and talking to somebody, and they wanted to make courses, and they were like, I don't want to make Egghead money, I want to make Wes Boss money. And I was like, and I don't think you understand what Wes like actually does to do his thing, right? Like, that isn't like he just rolls it out there, and comparatively speaking, an Egghead course is much smaller. That's like our whole shtick, is that we make these small things, and it's just the scope of it. It makes it less friction. But, you know, I'm like, I mean, people do want to do that. And we have instructors that come out of Egghead and do their own thing. We've, you know, like Josh Como was an Egghead instructor, and Tyler McGinnis was an Egghead instructor, and they come out and make really awesome stuff through that process. And they put in the work, and, you know, instead of seeing people go and do their own thing and become direct competitors to what we build, like, how can we like help facilitate them. What does that mean? And I called it Wes Boss as a Service, which Wes thought was funny, and I still think is funny. And it was Kent C. Dodds that first was like, I really want to make something, and I want to do something, kind of beyond that. And I had this idea, and we made testing JavaScript, which was kind of the first out of Egghead thing that we made. And and then we did Epic React, which was just a bonkers bestseller course that, I wish I knew the magic formula that went into that. It was a confluence of factors that produced that particular course. These are bigger things, and they're standalone. They're really the same thing. Like at the end of the day, they're very similar. Total TypeScript, Epic Web, testing accessibility, Pro Next.js, just JavaScript. That one's actually different from Dan and Maggie. That one's more it's more book like, but still fundamentally. And even a lot of those used Egghead as a backend for years. That was a grave technical error on my part to couple all of these things so tightly that I've spent a lot of money, a lot of time and effort over the last few years unwinding that decision. It's much better place now. But yeah, it's when I say, we've been iterating on the same idea, those standalone sites are kind of like mini Eggheads, like an Egghead course that we've taken and put on a domain and given it more, but also tailored to the person that wanted to create it. So they have different aspects because, Egghead is constrained. We don't use like Stack Blitz containers or whatever on Egghead. It's just you're watching videos, and that's really what that site is. Where Total TypeScript has, it's a problem exercise solution, and you can actually work in the browser. And then Canton, the latest Epic React and Epic Web takes it even a step further, where it's like, hey, stop, this isn't a browser-based course. Clone the repo, open your IDE, and we're working in like a real environment, which I love what he's done. And we've been able to, make the platform flexible to their needs and how they want to teach, which is really important because it's really important to us that one, we like to be a little extra with the design and like push the boundaries of like the presentation, but then also allow that. And we do that so they feel like this is my course. This is my platform. It's not ours. We're very low key. If you go to any of these sites, you're going to have to dig around pretty deep to even discover that I had anything to do with it. I prefer that. And they need to feel, and it needs to be their product, right? Like Kent's product needs to be his, and it needs to present his vision and what he wants to do. Otherwise he'd just get, you get bored or whatever, or move on and to keep going and keep doing that for a long time. Like content creation is it's a grind. Y'all make a podcast. Even doing this on a regular basis is a grind, and keeping it up, it takes a while. And sometimes you don't feel as energetic and enthusiastic as you did. And then how do you get that back? How do you keep that going over the years is always a struggle. So a lot of that has, like, I feel like having that, like the aesthetics and having it, like you guiding the thing and not being like, no, it's an Egghead course, you're going to make it like this, is important to like help people move past that. And then also like kind of keep our business going and keep kind of evolving to the needs of our customers, which frankly are the instructors more so than the, like the end users. We have to keep the end users happy for the instructors, but our customers are the instructors that we work with.